Well, if you're listening to this podcast, you're an educator who cares about learning. And I just want to invite you to think back to the curiosity you had when you were a kid, because that curiosity usually was what led you to some kind of inquiry where you began to investigate something you didn't know and you discovered something that the light bulb came on, and maybe that led to some kind of new experience or new practice, and which often those kinds of paths become transformational for us. I can't remember who it was I heard say this. I've heard leaders say before that sadly, that curiosity often gets crushed in us the longer that we go through schools, but also because, and this is our fault, as educators, we often squash that curiosity and that fun and that just that. So what I want leaders to think about in this book is yourself as a learner. It may sound simplistic, but I like to begin by just inviting you back to that kid that you used to be and recognizing that any kind of learning still happens the way it did then. It doesn't matter how big you get or how sophisticated you feel, you still learn through that curiosity and that inquiry, which leads to discovery. And so, when we talk about the cycles of learning that we want students to go through, it's not any different if we want educators to be learners. They have to walk through those same cycles. And so we have to apply that personally. And I get to the privilege of working with a lot of education leaders in the work I do, principals, superintendents, assistant supes, directors, teaching leaders. And I always ask them to hold that mirror up to themselves first and ask, how are you actually modeling the kind of curiosity, inquiry, discovery cycles that you want students to experience? Because if you're not embracing that same kind of experience yourself, I don't know how you lead learning if you're not staying a learner.